I think it does. I think it's, it kind of it breaks the ice anyway. I mean, and it does put a different complexion on everybody in the queue. I mean, there's, one or two more people might hear that what I've just said, and they might be very interested in kind of helping me out and stuff like that. And that's fine. I mean, that shows that people have, a will to kind of, look out for you and stuff like that. But there are some people who are not like that, who just kind of say, well, I'm sorry, I'm in a hurry, so I have to go. But anybody could meet people like that. You don't have to have Parkinson's disease to meet people like that, So that's kind of that's where I'm at. I'm just saying, well, flip it. I have to live with this. I'm either going to kind of retreat into my shell and do nothing, or I'm just going to say, look, guys, I'm dealing with it. So I think you can deal with it for the 5 minutes that I'm going to be holding you up here. That's probably the way it is. That's a very big question. I don't think I can inspire anybody with my answer. But when I finally kind of started to come to terms with it, about 5 years later, I kind of met people who were kind of in the same boat as me. There's a lot of us who are going to be young forever. Young onset Parkinson's disease. We'll have it until we die, so we can call ourselves young forever. But I mean, that's not going to get us through the day. It's going to just kind of focus us on the things, sometimes on the things only that we can't do. And we've got to try and not do that. It's really hard, but we've got to try and not focus too much on the negative. Always have a balance, if you can, in perspective. And sometimes that balance goes way off and it goes all to the negative zone. And that's hard, because pulling it back is like you're pulling a rope into the boat or something like that. It's really heavy and hard. But it will pass. So, I mean, if we can kind of get those interlinks together, we have some chance. They really are. And I'd say probably lots of people who have a different neurological condition, or indeed any condition, would say the same thing. I think people genuinely want to help when they're presented with a situation that they weren't expecting, and it involves another human being who's having difficulties. I think that's exactly the way people are. All I want is somebody to acknowledge and say, "Gotcha, buddy, no problem. Take your time." That's really all you want, because I mean, with the thing about Parkinson's disease, it doesn't present itself. It doesn't kind of, I hope I don't look weird to you guys, but I mean, I generally speaking, we don't look any different than anybody else. So people respond to people in a wheelchair, or people respond to people using crutches, or people respond to people who are, holding on to somebody to move. And they immediately, accept that that's what's happening. The way in a parking lot where there's a restricted movement space for people with disabilities and stuff like that, and it's usually up near the front of the car park, and it's easy enough to get to the ticket machine and all that kind of stuff. Whenever I park in that space, I'm with somebody, like I'm looking after somebody for a half an hour or a couple of hours, whatever, and we're going somewhere, and that person has a wheelchair badge that you can put on the car, and it gives you the right to park in that space. So when I'm parking in that space and I get out of the car, because I don't look weird and I'm not in a wheelchair, people look at me and think, what are you doing parking there? That's for people who are sick. You're not sick. And I'm kind of thinking, well, if you only bloody well knew. But it's a case of, you have to say to people, I may not look sick, but I have this pass to kind of park here, so I'm going to use it. So thank you very much for your input. Actually, it's much easier. And it's much easier for all the things I've said already. You can probably guess why, if I'm feeling that people are good anyway, it's kind of, there's an avenue opened up there for people to walk down and show how good they are. And they do that every day. And they'll do it in situations like I've explained already, where, if I'm brave enough to ask for help, as opposed to being asked, do you want any help? it's easier making friends. I've a bunch of friends now that I would never have, and they're all different ages across the spectrum, and it's wonderful. It's really good, and we're helping each other, and we're staying out of trouble and all that kind of stuff. But we're doing what we can for each other, and it's great. Be yourself and empower others with Parkinson's.